Making It Work is brought to you by Wealthsimple, which gives everyone access to simple, affordable investing on cruise control.
I got together with my partner Anne about a year ago when I was at a very low point in my life. I had just ended a very unhappy relationship. I was 50 pounds overweight. I had almost nothing left in my savings, and my apartment was kind of a mess. Just like my whole life. I won't bore you with all the details. You all know how romances work, but her presence in my life changed everything. 3 months after Anne and I started dating, I went through my bank statements in order to create a new monthly budget. I realized that I had recently been saving about $500 every month without even trying. At first, I put it down to Anne's frugal lifestyle and our shared costs. But then I started to dig a little deeper. Obviously, it had to have gone somewhere. To figure it out, I had to get back to my ex-girlfriend, the unhappy relationship I had just ended before I met Anne. Let's call her Winnie for anonymity's sake. Winnie and I got together during a time in her life where everything was going well. She had just gotten a new job and moved into a new apartment in a new city. She was funny and attentive and very interested in everything I wanted to share. We spent a lot of time together just talking and getting to know each other. But after a while, things started to change. It was subtle at first. Small things annoyed her, and she started complaining about her job, neighbors, colleagues, family, friends. She complained about life and how everything was just so disappointing. Everything seemed to annoy her, and after a while, she made it clear that our relationship was also a constant source of disappointment to her. I wasn't passionate enough. I didn't miss her enough. Did I even want to be with her? So I tried to get her out of what I thought was a bad place. I encouraged her to try out new things. I tried to support her hobbies, to be more invested in her interests. I texted her nice things whenever I thought of her. I bought her stuff. I tried to show her new places and people. Of course, nothing worked. It only got worse. Whenever I tried to talk to her about it, she would become angry. She would tell me I was being an insensitive jerk. Didn't I realize what she was going through at the moment? Also, why didn't I love her enough? For 2 years, I kept trying to make it work. I wanted the woman I fell in love with back. To be honest, I thought that was the real Winnie, and she was just trapped in a very bad place. I kept waiting. Eventually, I realized that I was waiting for something that would never happen. This was the real Winnie, not the one I had met during our honeymoon phase. So I walked out of the relationship, humiliated and angry, but mostly relieved. Life, I decided, had the potential to be great, and it wasn't my fault that she didn't realize it. Now cut to a year later. Shortly after I had ended things with Winnie, I got together with Anne, who is the single most wonderful woman I have ever met. I lost 50 pounds. We just rented our first apartment together, and things are looking swell. And for most of the year, I've been saving additional $500 every month that I seemingly didn't have before, without raising my income. I realized I'd been spending all this money every month to make a miserable relationship more bearable. Here are all the ways I tried to buy happiness in that relationship. Number 1, driving. Nobody's fault, but Winnie and I had a long-distance relationship for a long time, and we met up almost every weekend. I probably spent an additional $70 to $100 each month for gas and train tickets. Number 2, food. I spent so much money on food, which also led me to gain weight. First, I tend to eat my feelings. Second, it was the one thing we almost never fought about. Winnie loved good food, and we ate out constantly. Even when we stayed home, we ordered takeout, or we bought really expensive treats. Whenever we ate, it seemed like a break from fighting, and Winnie was content for a short while, so it seemed like a good idea to just eat as often as possible. I now spend about $200 less on food than I did back then. Number 3, alcohol. I'm pretty ashamed of this one. We had wine with almost every meal. After we started fighting about every little thing, I realized things went a lot smoother after sharing a bottle of wine, or 2, or 3. A while into the relationship, I started to develop insomnia and anxiety-induced tachycardia. So I thought it would be a great idea to drink even more wine because it calmed me down and made me feel sleepy. Yikes. All in all, I spent about $100 each month on alcohol. After the breakup, I stopped drinking alcohol completely for a while, just to see if I could. I now drink it only on special occasions and stick to 1 glass of wine. I never want to go down that particular road again. Number 4, movies. We went to the movies almost every other week. Again, it was an alternative to fighting. Where I live, the tickets were about $17, and of course, we also ordered snacks and drinks. I spent about $50 each month for 2 movies just so we could spend time together without having to talk. Number 5, gifts. I kept buying her little things to try to make her happy. Books, earrings, kitchen supplies, chocolate truffles. But here's the thing, it never made her happy. Of course it didn't. We should have actually talked about things, but whenever I tried, we started fighting again. Instead, I kept quiet and bought her things. Total, $500 monthly, or $12,000 spent over 2 years that should have gone to my savings. They say you can't put a number on love and happiness, but I can, because the difference between an unhappy and a happy relationship, to me, has been a staggering amount of money.
Money touches every aspect of our lives, including in our relationships with ourselves and others. The sooner you start taking control of your finances, the more secure you'll feel in your future. And with a company like Wealthsimple, it's easier than ever to get started. Wealthsimple is online investing that's as simple and human as it gets. In just 5 minutes, they'll build you a custom portfolio to fit your personal goals and timeline. Just answer a few easy questions and they'll manage your money for you on autopilot. Set it, forget it, and let your money grow in the background. You can turn on automatic deposits as well as set up a smart savings account with higher rates than big banks for your shorter-term goals, your wedding, your next great adventure, or that handbag you need. They also have a socially responsible portfolio that invests in green stocks and companies that support gender diversity. The fees are much lower than big banks, and TFD viewers will get their first $10,000 managed for free with no minimum deposit. Check them out at wealthsimple.com/TFD or use the link in our description. There are no account minimums, and it only takes a few minutes to start. No excuses.